Um, and on YouTube and Twitch, I'm Fuse Toast, and basically, my passion is creating entertainment and looking for something new and better to do and be like, as far as in entertainment, like making something really cool and new and different, and that's something that I've always wanted to strive for. So I'm going to be making a Patreon and letting people help me support my pursuits of making really cool interactive experiences and films and just all the stuff that I'm doing. On YouTube right now, I'm doing a lot of Doom building, just level editing in Doom. But I'm really working forward on learning how to make games and stuff so that I can make some of the things I'm thinking of. And I think that would be really cool. I think it's what I'm meant to be doing. It's what I should be doing. I should be one of the people out there, at least, putting interactive experiences and games into the world. And I need to start catching the ideas that are coming, and it's like I just need to get to getting some stuff out. So I'm making a few films right now. I've made a bunch of videos in the past, but I'm making a few like films that I feel are like real films, sort of. And those are coming very soon. I'm going to be doing editing in just a second here on one of them, trying to get going on this documentary I'm doing that's about a collaboration between a couple artists, a couple musicians, and then I'm doing a documentary on an indie iPhone game, and then I'm doing a documentary on a feature film that I've been working on for a while. That's gonna be kind of neat. It's kind of a sci-fi mystery thing. So my first pursuit here, or at least for this video, is to go through my timeline. So yeah, it's just going to be kind of a very self-centered type of video, because it's all about just my timeline. Like I've been kind of going back and forth on what do I talk about, what do I not talk about. And I want to talk about everything, but I'm going to talk about everything in this video. And part of this exercise is to just kind of be vulnerable and put things out there and don't worry about it. So because there's only one. Everything gets more complicated if you try to really like skew the way you're perceived, by holding certain things back and not holding other things back. So there's going to be some things I'm going to be talking about. Okay, let's see here. And I've been a little bit nervous about getting some stuff up on a website that I'm getting help with, and kind of has to do with the help that I'm getting that makes it a little bit more nervous for me to talk about certain things. I was going to put a timeline up on my website, and then I decided not to, and now I'm going to just do a timeline. All right, so I was born in Mountain View, California. So let's see here. And the only reason I'm typing this out is because maybe some of this will end up on my website. Let's see here. Born in Mountain View, California. All right. So I was born in Mountain View, California, but I wasn't there very long before my parents decided to move. I think, yeah. So, oh wow. Yeah, it's interesting how I'm not exactly sure what the timeline was there. I mean, obviously I wasn't remembering it, but I should know that. So we're going to say Mountain View, California to Denver, Colorado. And that was a very brief instant. And then back to Mountain View eventually. And yeah. Because my parents split up pretty quickly after I was born. And I'm pretty sure I was there for the Denver, Colorado piece. Yeah. But now I feel embarrassed if I was not, and either of my parents see this. So yeah, so my mom raised me by herself in Mountain View, and that was basically a that was a little while. Wow, this is really weird doing this. So might have to try this again another time. Okay. So yeah, my mom raised me in Mountain View. That was the first place I was living. There was a few places they were together there. A few places my mom lived, a few apartments my mom lived in that area. And for a time, I was in an apartment complex with my grandparents, the same one with my grandparents. Like my mom and her mom lived across from each other in an apartment complex. And then my mom moved to a smaller apartment complex. And then in that apartment complex met her future husband, who was running a business out of an apartment there. And that, yeah, so that was a while that we were all in that apartment complex, till about the time when I was halfway through school, or through elementary school, when we moved to another place in Palo Alto. So it's just apartment, and yeah, and I've been to 3 different elementary schools at that point. Then finally stayed at a school from beginning to end, which was my middle school experience. It's always interesting, those kind of experiences, I guess, for, kids growing up when you move from one place to another, like, or you're moving from one school to another. It's like, it definitely makes it so, like, you're like guaranteed, like, to like be a little bit less attached to all the kids, like, than they are to each other. So it's like, basically, you're not as much a friend as everyone else is with each other, because everyone else, like, has known each other for longer, if they've been at that school forever. So then the middle school experience was good, because I got, I was finally, like, in one place for quite a while, at a house that we moved into in Palo Alto, because my mom's husband my stepdad was doing really well at his business. It was growing and everything, and it was good. It was like the whole, I don't know, Silicon Valley boom type thing. And so, yeah. And it was just a pharmaceutical research company, and they're still doing their thing today. And let's see here. So basically, all this time I've been, very much focused on, well, what do I want to do? And I'm always wanted to be able to make the things that I'm thinking of, and make the things that, you know, I'm imagining. And the things that I've always really wanted to make have been pretty big, I feel, and too big to the point where it's like I don't even know where to start. So that's sort of, I think, been a contributing factor to my motivation, although there's been all sorts of emotional stuff that's happened, that has probably, you know, messed up my momentum early in life. But yeah, so basically I want to try my hand at making some games. I want to make some movies, and I am making some movies now. But movies aren't really the end thing. Like, it's not the complete thing. I can't just be a filmmaker. And it's not about being things. Like, it's not about me. It's not about, like, I need to be labeled this and then labeled that. Like, it's not about that. Like, it's about creating the actual things that I'm thinking of, that I want to make. I feel a lot of creativity and a lot of, like, actual vision, I guess you could say, like, in myself. And I know I just need to be able to realize those ideas. And I know those ideas are more associated with, can be better realized through immersive, interactive experiences. So I've been taking some time recently. So I guess I didn't really even go on my timeline. And I guess I'm not going to be typing. I don't know, maybe my timeline is just too depressing. Like, if I really went into detail on stuff, it'd be a little depressing for me. And then there's a couple things that have been interesting moments in my life. Interesting, confusing moments. You know, I ended up being, you know, it was the whole, you know, like, the whole sexuality thing was a big thing for me back when I was, you know, realizing I was gay and realizing I was then bi, and which is weird. That was a weird thing, because, like, there was literally a period in my life where I tried to be all the way gay, and it was like almost the opposite of when you try to be straight, like, where it's like there's like peer pressure and stuff, and you just feel like it from the other side. It's so weird. And then I realized I was bi and stuff. And anyway, so that was like a whole section of my life where I was like, obviously, I guess everyone has that section, like late teens, early 20s, where it's like they're just, it's all about, you start focusing a little bit on that stuff, maybe a little too much. And I don't know, for some reason that was a prominent thing, and that's, I don't know why I went into that, but it's otherwise, it just seems, the reason it seems like that was a prominent thing. Like, I don't know, that was a prominent worry, concern thing going on in my mind at that point, like the late teens, early 20s thing. You know, I started realizing I was getting older that like, and this has been a reoccurring theme my entire life, that I've been behind, that I haven't really, I felt behind my entire life. And I still feel behind, because I'm 32 and I feel like I'm kind of at a place where I should be when I was 22, like, as far as, not emotionally I do feel 32. Emotionally, I feel even more mature. Like, I feel very mature emotionally. It's just that the progress level of what I want to accomplish, I feel, is like, that's how much I've gotten done. That sort of stuff that I feel behind on. And now that stuff I've always felt behind on. So there's that. Okay, but the timeline, let's see here. So So yeah, went to Jane Lathrop Stanford Middle School, went to Gunn High School, then went to the Academy of Art University. My mom and my stepdad suggested that I go there because, you know, they knew that I was really into filmmaking. I had been making a bunch of stuff with video cameras and stuff. And, you know, I was kind of embracing it and it was good, but I did also, it was always in the back of my mind that I knew I wanted to do something more than that too, because I was so into video games and I was so into like the immersive experiences I would get from some of those games. And I knew that was really more the future. And I've learned that over time that really is the future. Like there is no, like filmmaking is almost, it's not done, but it's almost done. It's like kind of a little bit, it's almost done. Like it's not almost done. What I mean by it's almost done, it'll never be done. It's going to be always there, like painting, books, all that stuff. It's always going to be there. But it's like, and you know, at least filmmaking seems like it's in a rut. Like even the big Hollywood stuff seems like there just hasn't been much innovation in a while. So games, that's really where it's at. Not games though. I hate like labeling it as games. It's more about the medium itself that they use to make games, which is this sort of interactive experience, and this immersive experience. This ability to take a computer and make you feel like you're in another place. That's something that we need a different word for, and I'll just keep saying interactive entertainment, probably. Immersive entertainment, because the idea that it needs to be a game is reductive, is an oversimplification of the medium. So because a book can be a game, right? Like what if the only first books were like those Choose Your Own Adventure books, and what if those were the only books anyone ever read or everyone ever knew could be written? Because they were the first popular ones to be written or something like that, you know, then everyone would refer to books as game books or game, you know, and then no one would realize that there would be so much more potential to books than they thought, you know, like there's so much more in this medium of video games that we don't realize because we label them as video games. And only right now, it seems like people are discovering the rest of the potential because there's games like Dear Esther and like just games that are more about like different types of experiences you can have besides a gameplay experience with this sort of, you know, medium. So I really feel that I can help push forward in that medium if given the right resources and with the right time and practice and effort, and I'm doing that right now, and I've been doing that for the last couple of years, after 10 years or so in the just primarily just video production, but also just kind of scraping by with like just regular jobs and stuff, and getting worn out by, you know, the different jobs that I've had, and losing motivation on, you know, projects, and just keeping everything in my head and not ever really like getting it all out there, and not really just so, you know, I really need to get it all out there. Like I cannot go back to a regular like retail job or anything like that. Like I can't do that. That's not for me. That is not my process. That is not my purpose. And it's time to really shift on that. And so I've been doing that for the last couple of years, and I wanted it so bad that I just saved a bunch of money by getting a decent paying job, but then like, you know, cutting corners on how I'm spending money and stuff like that, and that's one of the things that I've been kind of nervous about talking about, because there was a period of my life where I was there's been two times in my life where I'd been technically homeless. And both times it's like I didn't really need to be homeless. But one time was when I was like 24 and I just gave up on work. I just gave up. I knew I was so depressed. I was living in LA. I had just moved there. My car I had just wrecked. and I was working at a job that I knew I hated, and it was paying decently, but it was the most boring possible job I could possibly imagine. And the only reason I was doing it was because I had experience in it. It was a copy and print job. And I hadn't experience in copy and print stuff because in San Francisco, when I was living there, I was working at a office supply place, and then so I had experience doing that, and I don't know why I was just keeping doing things that I didn't want to do. There was so much opportunity I had to be making films during all that time, or doing anything during all that time, learning programming, whatever. And I just wasn't doing it. And all I was doing was working and then resting and working and resting and working and basically, yeah. So I don't know. I was kind of pressured to just do that just to get it was the only thing that my parents knew to tell me to do after I was kicked out of college. So but I should have gotten more creative about what I was going to do to make money, rather than just settle for what everyone was suggesting, which is just that I get a normal retail job. So yeah, I forget what I was saying exactly there, but yeah, so maybe this will be just a part one. Next time I'll talk about the 2 times that I've been homeless, and the reasons why I didn't really need to be homeless and all that stuff. So anyway, this was sort of a good kind of process thinking video to get me working towards figuring out exactly what I'm doing with my Patreon that I'm going to be launching, because I have some really good ideas that I would like to keep going on, and I think I can push myself to do things like maybe make a small game every week, maybe make a small film every week, although I don't have a lot of hard drive space, so it's going to be really tough to figure out how that's going to work. But because the hard drives just keep filling up. So, and they are expensive, and I don't have a lot of money. So, the Patreon will go towards paying for hard drive space, paying for me to keep going, so I can work towards the bigger things that I really feel are worthwhile, like just something new and different and not overly advanced as far as like graphically or anything, but like I think me and a small team could really make something super awesome with technology that's already existed for years, and then people just didn't just kind of miss these certain ideas that I feel I could really put something into these games. So like I just have I guess the simplest way to put it is I have some unique ideas. I feel I have some unique ideas. I would like to give it a shot. So I'm gonna come up with some stuff for this Patreon. So I think this is a worthwhile pursuit. This is definitely something I want to do, and I feel I should be doing it. So anyway, all right, thank you. This has been an experience.